Hi, my name is Matsuri and welcome to my channel where I review, rant, and discuss about shows or movies that I've recently seen. And today's review is on Ju-on: The Origins. Now, for those who know me, know I'm a huge fan of horror movies, and the first Ju-on movie will always be in my top 10 horror movies because it scared me back in the day. And I think it's one of those movies that led me into the path of the horror genre because I was fascinated by ghosts and curses. Like, why do they haunt people? How did they die? How did they pick their targets? And I think I liked watching horror movies because it kind of answers my question. Anyway, when I saw that the Ju-on series was on Netflix, I was so excited that I just watched it in one sitting. And it wasn't what I was expecting, and I'll get into that later. But for now, for those who haven't seen it or are thinking of seeing it, here's a rundown of the story. So like the movie, there are a few stories that intertwine with each other, and in the series there is two stories. So in the first story stars Yasuo Odajima, who's a paranormal writer, and he's investigating the paranormal activities that is happening in Haruka Honjo's apartment. She gives him a tape containing noises of the night, where you can hear footsteps and a croaky voice that's saying something. It turns out the paranormal activity that's happening in Haruka's apartment is because Haruka's boyfriend, Tetsuya Fukazawa, went to a house that he was thinking of buying for her and for their future. Since he can see ghosts, he noticed there was a woman in white in the house, holding something. Terrified, Tetsuya leaves the house but realizes that it had followed him back to the apartment. When Yasuo tries to ask Tetsuya about the house, Tetsuya claims that the house is cursed and no one should go there as it is dangerous. A few days later, Tetsuya turns up dead, and now Yasuo and Haruka try to find the house to stop the curse from hurting anyone else. The second story stars Kiyomi Kawai, who has just transferred to a new school. Two girls from a new class, Yoshie Miyakami and Mai Hyodo, invite her to come see the cat mansion. Kiyomi agrees to go, and on the way, the girls pick up Yudai Katsuragi, a boy from a different school, to be their bodyguard. Although Kiyomi is a bit hesitant, he allows Yudai to come to the mansion, which turned out to be the cursed house. Upon entering, the two girls suddenly pin down Kiyomi and allow Yudai to have his way with her. While Yoshie is taking photos of the crime, Mai is suddenly acting strange and walks off. After the ordeal is done, Kiyomi goes upstairs and hides herself in the closet to cry, when she looks up to see the woman in white and screams. Yudai comes upstairs to find Kiyomi in the closet, and she clings onto him crying. As they leave the house, Yoshie claims Mai is still in the house and that they need to go look for her, but Yudai is freaked out and says Mai probably left on her own. Kiyomi, somewhat traumatized, begs Yudai to take her home, and they leave, not before Kiyomi flashes a smile to Yoshie. So as a horror fan, I was a little bit disappointed in the show because they're trying to imply that the house itself is cursed, and I don't understand that idea because in my mind, whatever is the object, something has to be influenced to make it evil. Like, an Indian burial ground, the devils, spirits, or whatever, but you can't say that an object is evil. It has to be influenced by something, and the show is making out to believe that this house is the cause of evil. So throughout the show, you'll see they have segments of the news playing in the background, and they'll tell you real life events that happened, and it's meant to imply that because they were influenced by the house, they did those crimes. For me, that idea doesn't make sense. So So that's why I was a little bit disappointed. The other thing I found disappointing that it wasn't scary. I was expecting it to be like Kayako and Toshio, like ghosts coming out scary, but instead it was more like the human psyche scary. Like, because the house is influencing people to do these crimes, it's more you don't know what people are capable kind of scary. But this leads me on to what I thought was good about the show, that it was very full on in the killing scene. It's very graphic and they didn't shy away from showing us everything. There's this one scene that made me wince. Not in pain, but just made me wince a little bit. And let's just say it involved a pregnant lady. And the crazy thing is, I found out that the scene that happened was actually based on a real life story that happened in Japan that hasn't been solved. Yeah, so let that sink in for you. And I also like the use of the intertwining storyline, because that's the one thing that I really like the Ju-on series for. Yes, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it does come together in the end and you kind of find out what happened with Yasuo. So my favorite character in the show is Kiyomi. The actress that played her, Ririka, was amazing. Like, she was so convincing throughout the whole series. She should probably get an award for this role. Now, should you watch the show? I give it an A for effort. I think it's very different from the usual J horror that I'm used to. It felt a little bit Hollywood, but it still kept like the uneasiness of J horror, and I'm not completely against that. If you do like Ju-on, you might enjoy it too, but if you're a true horror fan, you might not enjoy it just because it's not the scare factor that you're probably looking for in J horror. So would I recommend it? Yes. Would you enjoy it? Maybe not. And it's only 6 episodes. It is quite short, so if you're in the mood for J horror, why not give it a watch? But yeah, have you seen it? Did you find it scary? Let me know in the comments below. Did you like the ending? Like, I found it really weird, but I wasn't too mad about it. But yeah, just give me a comment down below. And if you can, give me a like, subscribe for more reviews, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!